All right, guys, we're going to talk about Season 2, Episode 9 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. All right, so we got time travel.
Just reading my stuff. So yeah, so you were being cheeky maybe last time when I'm like, yeah, I said something I think exactly like, yeah, no, like I assume they're gonna try to bring him back, but like there's 2 more episodes. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what do we do till then?
What did I say?
Or whatever. You were like, something like that. I'm like, okay, interesting, or whatever. So I knew something was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
We have time travel. I dig that.
Yes, I particularly like this. I like going back to where it all started. I think that's great.
Yeah,
his interactions at the cabin now back in the day are great.
Yeah. So it opens though with him doing donuts and stuff.
Yes.
I really, really loved this whole thing.
Okay.
Like the aftermath, because it ends with them in the shock therapy room or whatever at the asylum, the old whatever examination room, and then now we're just outside. And we kind of build up. We see the car doing stuff, and you're like, "What are they doing?" And then it cuts to him inside drinking. And it's like you can really taste the angel dust. And he's like doing stuff, and Pablo's there dead, and then Dead starts talking to him and all that stuff. Like it's a
Do you
great.
like how he's just duct taped together?
His feet
are like up on his head.
It's horrible. It's wonderful.
It's genius.
It's great. There's a line in there that I can't redo, and I didn't like rewind or something like that. But once they're gonna do the time travel, he says this long thing. Well, I may not have one of those fancy licenses from downtown. He goes, this long thing, and then like but I'm not but I am this, and I'm not this, and also this, but I am drunk, and like the way he says it. I'm not gonna do it right here, obviously, as I previously stated, but I was dying at that line. Something about the delivery, because it wasn't like a standard comedy triple where it's like, well, I may not be I may not be tall and I may not be handsome, but I am broke. It wasn't wasn't just that. It had like an extra thing that like threw you off, and his
he's
acting
got a great
and stuff, it was really good.
and the timing is wonderful, and yes, that joke in particular did land.
So tell me something, too.
Sure.
Was the drunk bum on the street the same guy that he gives the bottle of booze
Yes.
to? Okay. Because I was like, I refuse to rewind now, but I feel like...
I can't. My family has a history of one drink's not going to hurt you.
It's not going to change your whole life. And the guy's like, ooh, drinking it? Yeah,
well, you got to think. There's a lot of things like that when you just now became aware. He just got woke to time travel.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to affect you in some way.
I wonder if when he saw the same car speeding towards him 30 years later or like whatever it was, he was like, oh, no, it's happening.
Wonder.
Yeah, it's interesting. What are you going to do, though?
I get killed.
Okay. So they go to the past.
Yes, they do.
They find the cabin, or Ash does first. Some of this was interesting. He was like gonna cut his foot off. I'm not sure the rules of like the nail must have been coated in like deadite juice or something that to get into him.
Deadite tetanus.
Yeah. And then like that little foul-mouthed pig fetus that he spits out or whatever the hell. I thought that was gonna turn into something. I don't know. Oh, the Ashy Slashy puppet or something like that.
Oh.
I thought it was gonna be super deep.
No, that would have turned into a whole other Ash if he didn't abort that fetus.
Yeah, because that's the rules of the thing. Yeah, this was a lot of callbacks. So this was some cheeky, cagey, weird. Like I've already been to the Middle Ages, right? When technically that's an Army of Darkness, which they don't own the rights to, right? Mm-hmm. And now here he gets to redo the whole like someone's inside of me, pouring the hot water, the whole all of the beats of some of the Army of Darkness stuff. Yeah.
And some of the like they went into the wildly outlandish in that fight scene where he's getting thrown around the room and stuff. We haven't seen the likes of that recently, anyway. Where things have been not necessarily straight-laced and realistic, but that was a whole nother level of ham that we haven't seen.
I write somewhere in here. This is peak Raimi like stuff because you get the outside for first person shots of the evil approaching. You get the stuff in in the cabin with the horror comedy, all the stuff with Ash and everything. Like it's very Raimi happening. Yeah,
I like. Not only do we have the goofy stuff, but we have like the standard funny stuff, like him and the old woman in the basement reacting. Like when he's beating her, because it takes you on the ride where you're
great.
You're like, oh, Ash, you're beating this woman. Obviously, she's not this thing. And then it's like, obviously, she's this thing. And then him saying, I should have hit you harder.
I should hit you harder. Because like, it goes to the overall like thesis. And I think at around that time, as like an Easter egg, that or like a foreshadowing thing, they cut back. So Ruby and Kelly get separated from Ash. Ash is flying solo, and they're off there, and Ruby says something like, "I have to admit, he is like begrudgingly effective," or something like that, and they're going back and forth arguing it, and Kelly's like, "No, it's dumb luck. You can't just whatever, blah blah blah." But meanwhile, he's in the cabin like, "Okay, you dead-eyed bitch," and he's like slapping her. She's like, "Oh God, stop!" and this whole thing. So like, it's this
great
awesome,
though, 'cause it also
like,
breaks
thing.
the rules. Where almost all the other ones, like the second you hit them or do anything or cause them pain, they seem to snap into the thing. And this one held out like forever. And it could be because this is like one of the original demons.
Yeah.
But
So does this all jive with the timeline? I haven't seen Evil Dead in like a really long time.
It should.
Is Henrietta in the other ones, or like how does this? Is there something in the basement? Is that her?
Let's see.
I don't know what's going on. It's been so long.
It has been quite a while to remember
because he says something like, "Well, I don't know you yet," or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, she must be in the other movie or whatever."
I can't remember actually.
Yeah.
Gotta rewatch.
That's a whole thing. I'm interested now because like this would be honestly 10 out of 10 amazing and perfect if everything, the way that things end up in next episode, lines up perfectly with the movies. Where like, oh, someone else used the book before you. And you like
he
got
did
a
come in.
right?
He did come in and he grabbed the book, because that is how the first one started. Because this guy was transcribing and doing that shit in there.
Okay.
And I just can't remember how it ended with that guy.
Because I know there's something in the basement, right? And that's the whole like that's not them or whatever, right? Or
well,
what's
I know
happening?
Eventually it's that one of them gets locked in the basement.
I know that. Yeah.
And
I
can't remember if there was one before that.
Okay.
Can't remember. It's been some years.
Oh no, it's
like,
been.
I've rewatched
Army
of Darkness like 100 times recently, but I haven't. I've probably only seen the first Evil Dead 1 and 2, maybe two times.
No, same for me. We had the Army of Darkness VHS. My dad and I loved that movie for its comedy elements or whatever, and the Bruce Campbell stuff. So I watched that. I wore that tape out. I watched that a lot when I was a kid. But Evil Dead was like, I'm kind of bored. I'm 7. I don't know what I'm watching here. All right, whatever.
Yeah, Evil Dead 1 and 2, very similar movies, too, for a young child to watch.
Oh, yeah. And would have been very weird to, like, tie them together in my head or something like that. I think at the video store, I was, like, looking at the box, like, I should watch this, and never watched it again, right? I've seen them all, but, like, was like, oh, yeah. Anyway.
I remember picking them up at Walmart on VHS for, like $3.
Oh, yeah. Like a 3-pack?
Each one was $3.
9-pack.
But this was like back when VHS were still like being sold. It wasn't like this is like discount whatever.
It wasn't like the bin. Yeah.
They just were really cheap for some reason.
No, yeah. So I'm not personally as much of a cult fanatic for them and all that stuff. I did not watch that remake of it, which I heard different things about.
I did watch the remake. The remake was decent.
Yeah, people said it was like
a different movie.
Yeah, they said it was like a different take where it was like very visceral and like gory, and I'm like, okay.
It was
like realistic.
It got a nice reaction.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was not this comedy movie. Yeah. It was a horror movie.
Nice.
And I like that. I can respect that. As far as remakes go, like that is, I think, the preferred method for me. Like a remake that is not trying to be the first movie. Like, oh, no, I grew up. I like that movie. I like the idea. This is how I would have done it. Oh, cool.
Exactly.
Rather than like, I'm gonna make that worse with new people.
Right. It's like it's like like Green Day covering a like Ramones song and just kind of playing the song again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like you listened to them growing up. They inspired you. You are now this other thing. Play it like you would play it.
Yeah.
Right? Do something. Okay.
Yeah, those covers annoy me the most. When a cover is just you trying to play that song as best you could play that song.
People call them like karaoke covers, and like when like certain websites or YouTube channels do a thing where they invite bands to come in and like cover stuff. And if you do a karaoke cover, the comment section is like brutal. They're like, oh, like this is just like you just played the song. Some people take a song and they make it techno, or they make it faster or slower, or like they change it, right? Or like some weirdo comes in who makes weird music and then covers a very normal song and twists it around and all that stuff.
Yeah,
those are the real things.
That's like on a punk cover CD. It would be like 70% like, okay, you just made that more hardcore, and then like 30% would just be like, that's just the song with you singing it exactly the same as it is on the album. No one wants that.
No one wants that. That's boring. What we wanted here, though, I don't know, it's segues. Henrietta, there's like a transformation sequence.
Yes,
she turns into this like thing, and then says something. She says, "I'm just gonna hurt you real bad," and it's the exact line from Suicide Squad with the Joker, right? That's so weird.
I didn't call that out.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what year this came out, or if it was a joke or something like that about that. I'm not sure anymore, because they're both relatively in like the last few years.
This would have been before Suicide Squad.
Okay, I don't know then. I thought that the show was still happening. Okay, regardless of that, that line made me go, wait, who is that? And I looked it up, and it's Ted Raimi as possessed Henrietta.
Oh yeah, interesting.
I caught something about the voice or his something or other. And I was like, ha ha ha.
I didn't catch that. I like that.
I thought it might be him. So I was like, wow. So he's still around. Or they were just like, Chet's dead. We need someone to be in this suit, and he's like, okay, and like did it or something like that. But
this episode would have aired like 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say, and then Suicide Squad would have been 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
I will research it independently. It's such a weird line, and then to have it be exactly the same thing in both was weird to me. It's probably nothing, but I like to notice things.
It's a very generic line, though. It's not like this.
It sounded like he was saying it the way Jared Leto says it. So I was like, what is going on here? What's happening?
Didn't jump out at me as a thing at all.
Yeah.
But who's to say?
No. That is basically it. I like this girl and this professor and all this stuff happening there. I really, really like. You mentioned it, before briefly, but the whole thing where he's like, no, you're not here to help me do this. You're here to help me do that. I read from the book. It was this. Like he's telling this long story, and as Ash is like, unlocking her, and right at that moment of like, oh, he says like, but then to possess my wife, and then Ash is like, huh.
Yeah, and she's fucking gone. Like, damn it.
And it's like, this keeps happening. And yeah, it's like, that's sort of what I come here for, that type of stuff.
Yeah, Ash has to learn that everything he does is wrong, and he should just go against all his instincts. But then the moment he learns to do that, his instincts will be right, and he'll be going against
but he starts out right. He starts out like, okay, maybe you're not turning right now. Maybe you'll turn later. But I'm from the future. Your deadite bullshit's not going to work on me, or something like that. Yeah. He's slapping her around. So he was right. And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm not right, and all that stuff, right? Oh, it's perfect. But this backstory, if it's part of the real timeline, is super fascinating.
I think it works.
Yeah, that somebody else was also messing with the book, and someone else got possessed.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Okay.
Because that's in the tapes. He's listening to those tapes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I thought Ash read from the book and that's what Ash thinks. Which is even weirder, by the way. He's like, wait, this can't be. I haven't read from the book yet, right? He says that in the beginning. So he thinks like nothing should be afoot unless he's read from the book.
Well, because when he picked up on the book, it would this had already happened,
and resolved. It turns out by him from the future, right? So it's a big. So it's.
I feel like he came in and interrupted the resolution that would have happened.
Oh, so he would have just.
I think Ash. If I could be totally wrong. Yeah, no, I like that. But I think Ash, under the normal timeline, comes in and there's just a dusty book. There's a reel-to-reel tape thing there where he listens to the guys like, oh, I did this and then did that and I read from the blah blah. But I think he gets to that part of the tape after he's already read from the book.
Yeah, I like all that. It's almost perfect, because, yes, she could have still been, the situation was seemingly stable, but the fact that something was outside chasing Ash still throws me for a loop. But it doesn't have to line up perfectly. I'm okay.
It's a movie.
And I loved him up on the
and then when it breaks and he falls,
it's like, oh, but he's like, still got it. And I'm like, how'd you get up there? This is crazy.
I still got it.
He still got it. That's how. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's this episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.